Odyssey Sims goes down hard, and Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, Chloe Bibby are waiting for her at half court, and the cop tries to get Sophie Cunningham to move. Sophie Cunningham.
Picture this. The Indiana Fever just pulled off one of the most dramatic playoff wins in franchise history. Fans are on their feet. Players are celebrating. And what should be pure basketball bliss is about to turn into the most controversial 2 minutes the WNBA has seen all season. Sophie Cunningham, hobbling on a leg brace that makes her look more like a wounded warrior than a threat, finds herself face-to-face with league security in a stare-down that's about to expose everything wrong with women's basketball today. What happened next didn't just break the internet. It shattered the WNBA's carefully crafted image and left Commissioner Kathy Engelbert scrambling for damage control. The Indiana Fever had just done the impossible. After years of heartbreak, after seasons of disappointment that left their fan base wondering if they'd ever see playoff success again, they finally broke through. This wasn't just any win. This was validation, redemption, and pure basketball magic rolled.
Cunningham was like, "You're not going to get me to move. I'm waiting for Odyssey." And you could see during the review, look at Sophie Cunningham clapping, not moving, waiting for her teammate. That's the Fever for you.
Into one unforgettable night. Lexie Hull's game-winning steal had the arena erupting. Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston had delivered clutch performances that reminded everyone why they're considered among the league's elite. The storyline was perfect, the celebration was authentic, and for once, the WNBA had a feel-good moment that could dominate headlines for all the right reasons. But the league couldn't help itself. In what can only be described as a masterclass in how to completely torpedo your own success, the WNBA managed to turn triumph into controversy in the span of 30 seconds. Instead of talking about heroic steals and clutch shots,
yeah, Chloe, she's like that. She's like that. She ain't moving. And then she puts her hands on the hip. Let me talk to your manager. Oh, shit. All right, Sophie, say no more. Say no more. Now, when your team...
media exploded with outrage over what fans are calling the most unnecessary confrontation in recent memory. Enters Sophie Cunningham, sporting a bulky leg brace that made it crystal clear she wasn't going anywhere fast. This wasn't a player poised to storm the court or cause chaos. This was an injured teammate showing support, moving with the careful precision of someone nursing a significant injury. She wasn't running, wasn't shouting, wasn't doing anything that would require security intervention by any reasonable standard. Yet somehow...
when your teammate gets injured, you're allowed to hop on the court and just to see if your teammate's doing good. So, injured, healthy, so Chloe, Sophie, they had every right to be on the court over it.
A league-hired security guard decided that Sophie Cunningham in a leg brace represented a threat serious enough to warrant aggressive confrontation. The optics were absolutely brutal. Here's a player who couldn't sprint if her life depended on it, clearly struggling with mobility, being treated as if she'd just rushed the floor during a bench-clearing brawl. The security guard approached with a kind of aggressive posture typically reserved for actual troublemakers, not injured players, showing team solidarity. And that's when Sophie delivered the moment that would define the entire controversy, a stare down that said everything without saying a word. If you know Sophie Cunningham, you know that look. It's the same expression that's made her one of the most compelling personalities in women's basketball. The same defiant glare that's turned her into a social...
Sophie Cunningham. And look, I think there is a reason she got up in Sophie's face. And I don't think there was any need.
Media phenomenon. Her face went through a progression that fans caught in perfect detail. Initial confusion, growing annoyance, and finally that unmistakable Cunningham stare that basically screamed, "Really? This is what you're choosing to do right now." She didn't explode, didn't create a scene, didn't hand the league any ammunition to use against her. She simply stood her ground and refused to be intimidated by what amounted to a glorified hall monitor with a badge. The reaction was instantaneous and absolutely devastating for the league's reputation. Within minutes, clips of the confrontation were trending across every social platform, and the response wasn't just critical, it was furious. Fans didn't see enforcement.
Any need to sort of bow up to Sophie like that. I don't think, and to Sophie's credit, she did not back down at all.
They saw harassment. They didn't see security doing their job. They saw a league that had completely lost perspective on what actually constituted a threat. The hashtag started flying, Free Sophie, WNBA exposed, and dozens of others that painted the league in the worst possible light. But here's where the story gets really interesting, because this incident perfectly encapsulates everything that's been building in women's basketball for months. Sophie Cunningham isn't just another player. She's become a symbol of everything the WNBA struggles to handle. She's outspoken when the league prefers silence. She challenges narratives when they want compliance. She's confident and unapologetic in a system that often rewards players who stay in their lane and don't rock the boat.
Upgraded in any way. Odyssey was holding her right shoulder.
The numbers don't lie about Sophie's impact. Her name trends regularly on social media. Her highlights rack up views that rival players the league actively promotes. Her interviews get shared and replayed more than carefully crafted PR content from officially sanctioned stars. She has one of the most engaged fan bases in women's basketball, people who tune in specifically to watch her play and react to her content. In any reasonable business model, she'd be front and center in marketing campaigns. Instead, she's been systematically marginalized, treated as a problem to be managed rather than an asset to be celebrated. The double standards are so obvious that even casual observers can't miss them. When Angel Reese gets into confrontations or shows emotion, it's called passion and swagger. When Paige Beckers displays confidence, it's labeled leadership and star quality. But when Sophie Cunningham does literally anything, including standing on a basketball court while injured, she becomes the villain. The disparity is so stark that fans have started documenting examples, creating viral threads that expose the preferential treatment some players receive while others get vilified for identical behavior. This incident becomes even more damning when you consider the league's recent history with similar situations. Just weeks earlier, officials felt uncomfortable with DeJane, Carrington's presence during a game situation. The league's response was swift and protective. They defended Carrington. The Players Association rallied around her, and the narrative quickly became about unfair treatment of players. Press conferences were held, statements were issued, and the basketball world united behind the idea that targeting players inappropriately was unacceptable. So where was that same energy for Sophie Cunningham? Where were the league statements defending her right to support her teammates? Where was the Players Association calling out the obvious harassment? The silence was deafening and told fans everything they needed to know about how the league actually operates. There are players worth protecting, and there are players who are expendable, and Sophie clearly falls into the wrong category. The broader implications of this treatment extend far beyond one player or one incident. Caitlin Clark has been living this reality since her rookie season, taking harder fouls than anyone else while referees swallow their whistles. The league's biggest draw, the player who single-handedly brought unprecedented attention to women's basketball, gets hacked and shoved with minimal protection. Meanwhile, players who fit the preferred narrative receive kid-glove treatment from officials and league management. What makes this particularly devastating for the WNBA is the timing and the audience. Casual fans, many of whom discovered women's basketball through Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise, are paying attention to these dynamics. These are the newcomers the league desperately needs to retain, the viewers who could transform the WNBA from niche sport to mainstream entertainment. Instead of seeing polished professionalism and exciting basketball, they're witnessing petty confrontations and obvious favoritism. When outsiders conclude that your league cares more about drama than basketball, you've lost them forever. The fan backlash reached levels that should terrify league executives. Comment sections exploded with attacks on Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, with fans calling her leadership an embarrassment to professional sports. The criticism wasn't just harsh, it was personal and sustained, the kind of negative attention that sponsors notice and advertisers avoid. Some fans demanded her resignation. accusing her of turning the WNBA into a circus act that prioritizes manufactured controversy over athletic excellence. Meanwhile, Sophie herself handled the situation with a professionalism that put everyone else involved to shame. She didn't feed the drama machine or give the league ammunition to use against her. She didn't explode on social media or create additional headlines. She simply stood firm, refused to be bullied, and let her body language communicate everything fans needed to know. The message was clear: you won't intimidate me, and I won't apologize for caring about my teammates. The response from her supporters was overwhelming. Her social media flooded with messages of support, turning her into the hero of a night that should have belonged to the entire team's playoff success. Once again, the league's attempt to diminish Sophie only strengthened her connection with fans who see her as an authentic voice in a manufactured world. This incident reveals the WNBA's fundamental problem with player promotion and protection. The league claims to want growth and mainstream relevance, but their actions consistently undermine their biggest personalities. Both Sophie and Caitlin represent exactly what the WNBA should be celebrating: marketable stars who generate engagement and bring new fans to the sport. Instead, the league allows them to be mistreated by officials, harassed by security, and marginalized in favor of players who better fit predetermined narratives. The missed opportunity here is staggering. The Fever's playoff run should have been a triumphant story of resilience and teamwork. Playing without half their rotation, including Caitlin Clark, they managed to pull off a dramatic victory that showcased the depth and determination of their roster. Lexie Hull's defensive brilliance, Aaliyah Boston's steady dominance, and Kelsey Mitchell's leadership provided compelling storylines that could have dominated sports media for days. Instead, fans are sharing memes about security guards and questioning the league's priorities. The basketball excellence got overshadowed by administrative incompetence, and what should have been a celebration turned into another controversy. This isn't just bad optics, it's organizational malpractice that damages the league's credibility with every viral clip. The lasting impact of this moment extends far beyond the immediate embarrassment. Fans have already decided that Sophie was wronged and the league looks ridiculous, and no amount of corporate spin will change that perception. Every tweet, every meme, every shared video ad's fueled to a fire that threatens to consume whatever goodwill the WNBA has built with casual observers. Sophie Cunningham's only crime was caring about her injured teammate while managing her own injury. That one scene told fans everything they needed to know about how the WNBA treats players who don't conform to their preferred image. The backlash isn't dying down, it's building momentum as more people discover the incident and share their outrage. This is why the confrontation matters so much. Once again, the narrative isn't about incredible basketball or inspiring athletes. It's about the WNBA's complete inability to get out of its own way, to recognize talent when they see it, and to protect the very players who make their league worth watching. Until that changes, moments like these will continue to define women's basketball for all the wrong reasons.